Good evening, everyone. Sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men. We aren't able to get the timer to work, so we'll figure out how to keep time when we do our public speaking. Before we start the meeting, I'd like to let you know I am not Andrea Schott. She is absent this night for very good reasons, and I'm Rennie Scott Childress, and I will be the master of ceremonies, such as they are. So before we start the meeting, there are a couple of quick public service announcements. For an emergency, please note the exits on either side of the chambers and proceed down the stairs. The bathrooms are located through that door to my left, your right, if you're facing us. The women's room is to the right, the men's room is to the left. We will allow 30 minutes for public speaking. If you have not done so, please sign up at the podium. They're in the middle of the room. Zoom speakers are only permitted if you signed up by emailing the city clerk by 11 a.m. today. If you did sign up, you must put your camera on so that we can see you before addressing the council. This rule is very strict. Please note that the council has rules of decorum for our meetings, including the public speaking portion. We ask that respect be shown to all, whether they serve on the council, on the staff, or here as public members. As noted on the signage, we do not allow weapons of any sort, signs mounted on wood, metal, or similar material, or signs larger than 19 inches by 24 inches. This will help guarantee that we follow the open meetings law of the state of New York. Not only are we here tonight to listen to the voices of the public, but we are here also to run government proceedings. To best serve all, we cannot have any distractions. When a speaker is addressing the council, no disruptions are permitted. This includes talking over, yelling, and clapping. When this body proceeds with the day's business, we also need no disruptions. As per open meeting law, section 103, interruption of a speaker or government proceedings will not be tolerated. After one warning, anyone interrupting a speaker or the proceedings of today's meeting will be removed from chambers. I am now calling this Common Council meeting to order at 7:42 p.m. on August 5th, 2025. If you are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Oh, I forgot to. Now it's official. All right. Can we have the roll call, please, noting that Steve Shabbat is excused, as is Drew Andrews.
Alderman Pasty,
Here.
Alderman Tierney,
Here.
Alderman Scott Childress,
Sort of here.
Alderman Edwards,
Here.
Alderman Mickens,
Here.
Alderman Dennison, Alderman Hirsch.
Here.
Can I have a motion to dispense with the minutes of the previous meeting and
Motion.
approve the same? Motion by Michelle, second by Bob Dennison. And all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That's done. Motion approved by a vote of 7-0. Can I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the general bills? Motion by Sarah Pasty, second by Jean Edwards. All right, then can we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 7-0. Motion approved by 7. We now enter into this public speaking portion of the meeting. We have allotted 30 minutes for this purpose. Speakers will have 3 minutes each. Please be aware that I will give a verbal 30-second warning. If there are remaining speakers after 30 minutes, I will call for a motion from the council to extend the period for another 30 minutes. Speakers, direct your comments to the chair, as council members cannot engage in debate at this time. Please state your name and address on the record before you begin. There can be no distractions from the audience in chambers or on Zoom when a speaker addresses the council. The Common Council has also received written comments for our consideration, and they can be found on the city's website under tonight's agenda. Can I have the first speaker, please?
Joseph DeFalco.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to discuss the project that went on in Glen Street, repaving the road. I had called Ed Norman and tried to enlighten him of the conditions that the last contractor put us 5 inches above the original grade, and if it was possible for him to leave it at that or bring it to the original grade would be wonderful. During the construction, I called his office several times and he wasn't there. I left a message for him to call me back. When he finally showed up on the job, I asked him why he didn't call me back. I don't have to call you back. You do nothing but complain and say nasty things about what goes on at the council. Well, here's the things I complain about. I complain about you cooking up the budget to $10 million, hiding the money, and then 6 months later facing an audit from Tenopoli in the state, and then trying to buy down a $20 million contingency fund with a $40 million budget. And his words, not mine, John Toohey, after they brought it down 10 million bucks, I don't know where they put the money. I think we'll be all right now. That's his words, not mine. Okay. The second thing is ethics board. You have no ethics here. Okay. The ethics board has no ethics. I can attest to that. Been involved in that a long time. And the third thing is the corporate counsel earning the reputation of corruption counsel. Okay. And I can attest to that also. You don't want me to speak any longer than 3 minutes because you won't be happy. And I do nothing but complain. Okay? And these are the things I complain about. Thank you. And I think, Mr. Chairman, I think you were the chairman of the Finance Committee when Toohey was hiding the money. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Howard Weiss.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Howard Weiss, and I'm a proud resident of Ward 9. I live at 53 Brewster Street. The council has done laudable work in the area of affordable housing in recent years. I'm here to encourage the council to continue its efforts by pursuing a course of public discussions through the planning and implementation of a Housing Development Fund Corporation. The aim would be to ensure that tenants' interests are fully represented from the outset and protected when the fund is in operation. Multiple public meetings would enable all stakeholders, including those of us who rent, to understand the goals, structure, and financial implications of the HDFC. Questions raised and answered as a result of public discussions will be invaluable to the creation of a fund that has the best chance of succeeding. Among the many issues that will likely arise are who and how will the new properties be managed? Where will the initial funding come from? And how will ongoing financial viability be managed? If profits are generated, how will they be put to use? Will strong tenant protections be guaranteed and permanent? How will base rents and rent increases be determined? What will the council's role be in revising fees or financing terms that might need to be adjusted over time? The impact of an HDFC here in Kingston could be very positive for the community. Its chances for succeeding will depend on the scope and quality of public input and public buy-in. I encourage the council to insist on meaningful public involvement before, during, and after an HDFC is created. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
June Neiman.
Great. Hello, Council. Hope you're all having a wonderful evening. My name is June Neiman. I'm a tenant organizer based here in Kingston. So I'm here to speak as well about the proposed revolving loan fund from this administration to create new housing here in the city of Kingston. And I think it's important to know that in a lot of the public commentary around it, it is very specifically based on a model that we have seen work very successfully in Montgomery County that has developed tens of thousands of truly affordable units that have a high degree of tenant protections and tenant management of the properties. Unfortunately, at this point, we don't really have a lot of that information with this specific proposal. And so I think that if we are going to move forward with a plan to do a similar sort of model and create affordable housing here in Kingston, we have to have the answers to these questions so that we can really determine if this is a sort of a Montgomery-like model and if it will do what it's saying it should do, which is produce truly affordable housing for people in Kingston. So I think some big questions that we need to have addressed is, how will our market rate be set? What exactly are we using to determine market rate units, given that that is roughly 70% of the portfolio in this proposal? What will the tenant protections look like? Will we have good cause eviction? Will they be rent stabilized? I think these are important things for us to determine. There's examples in the city, for example, the 421A tax break, which allows developers to get tax breaks while providing rent stabilization long-term for tenants. So would this do that as well? And I think really importantly, will the tenants have a role in managing the property? And this is often the case with these sorts of proposals, and we don't really have any answers to that at this point. So all this is to say that a plan like this, using a revolving loan fund to establish new affordable housing is generally a good idea and could be very positive for our city. But we should really be cautious before rushing into it without having some of these key questions answered. And I think an important way of doing that is generating public buy-in, right? And getting both the general public and the council to weigh in on this plan and help shape it so that what comes out of it is going to truly create affordable housing. So I know that this council has already, sent this particular plan back to committee, which is, I think, a good idea, so we can get some more answers. But more broadly, I would like for this administration to engage in a real public deliberative process so that we can help collectively shape a proposal that truly will help house all of Kingston residents. Thank you so much.
Next speaker, please.
Marissa Marvelli.
The clock isn't working. Sorry. Or it could be that I can't work the clock. Either way, it's not happening. I've got a timer here. I apologize.
May I begin? I'm here as a historic preservation professional and resident concerned about the legitimacy of the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission and the defense of its work. The HLPC exhaustively heard multiple applications brought by the Wiltwyck chapter of the DAR, who desires to needlessly replace all his historic windows in his 18th century chapter house on Green Street with run-of-the-mill inserts. Not only does this violate preservation standards, it violates the chapter's own mission, which, believe it or not, is historic preservation. Their status as a tax-exempt public charity is that mission. The HLPC has followed its procedures to the letter. Its members, who have special training in preservation review, have been faithful in the duty they've sworn to uphold as public servants. On the other hand, the leaders of the DAR have repeatedly shown themselves to be bad actors, attempting to circumvent the city's laws and process at every turn. They refuse to engage in good faith with the HLPC. Their actions reek of arrogance and entitlement. And 10 days ago, their lawyer filed a laughably baseless petition in the state Supreme Court demanding that the city's stop work order be lifted and the DAR be issued a retroactive building permit for their illegal work. The city has until August 22nd to respond to the court's order to show cause. All good laws are worth defending resolutely and consistently, not just when it's convenient. The Common Council should care about our laws being upheld, especially in this precedent-setting case. It would be an embarrassment to our image as a pro-preservation city not to smack this down. Our community bears enough scars from inaction on the preservation front. We remain traumatized by some of them. We know the cost of short-sightedness. Look at the Rondo. Post Office Park is a park. But this very room is a reminder of the rewards of standing with the HLPC. It is the right thing to do.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Sarah Sismazia.
Hello, Common Council. My name is Sarah Sismazia, and I live at 180 West Chestnut Street in Ward 9. I would like to voice my questions on the lack of details provided on the HDFC proposal Mayor Noble is pushing for. I am asking the city to put a pause on this proposal until the city holds in-person and virtual public meetings to fully present the details of the HDFC. The city should be able to thoroughly explain the HDFC's goals, structure, and financial implications to both the council members and the community members, and give time for everyone to ask questions and get clear answers on where our tax dollars are being spent. My current questions are, who will manage these properties? How much public money is needed to launch and sustain the HDFC? Will the properties have robust tenant protections like they have in the Montgomery County model? What happens with any profits made by the nonprofit? What does the tax abatement policy look like, and does it only apply to Kingston? Will rent increases be tied to AMI, or can we do better for our community? How will base rents be set for non-affordable units? How does the city benefit from 51% ownership of any project? Will the council be able to renegotiate developer fees or financing terms? I firmly believe that any new housing initiative involving public dollars must be subject to public scrutiny before a vote should be held. I want to make sure that our city's money is spent in the way that is best to help its residents and not just private real estate developers. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Brandon Esteras.
Hello, I'm Brendan Stennis. I live in Ward 5. I'm a housing economics researcher, and I'm generally a very big fan of these Montgomery County style models. I've been aware of them for a few years, and I've watched the work that Paul Williams and the Center for Public Enterprise has done, and it's really remarkable what they've been able to achieve in a lot of different places. One of my favorite things about them is that it is, instead of making grants to developers, it's a way of making loans to developers. So if you're concerned about public money being given away to developers in order to produce affordable housing, this is the alternative. This is a powerful alternative to that. The money comes back to the public sector. All that said, I think the questions being asked tonight by the others here are very good questions. We deserve answers to them, and they need to be addressed. The ones that I particularly want to highlight are what kinds of tenant protections can be included in this. Right now, as far as I'm aware, there aren't any tenant protections in the current proposal, which is different from how this model is established in other places, including Montgomery County. There's a lot of kinds of tenant protections that can be included in this kind of program without sacrificing the ability to actually get new buildings built, which is really important. We need the new affordable units. We need new market rate. We need a lot more units. We need things to get built. But we can do that in a way that actually provides strong tenant protections. And I think that we should get answers about that. The other thing I wanted to highlight was whether there is how we can encourage more of those the loan funds to be dispersed to nonprofit and public sector actors. because those are the kinds of institutions which
30
will
seconds.
not be raising rents for profit. They, that will ensure more responsible stewardship of the housing stock that is established. So if more of the funds can be encouraged in that direction, I think that would be positive. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Amber Rodriguez.
Hi, my name is Amber Rodriguez. I live in Ward 2. I'm here to first congratulate the City of Kingston for recognizing the need for affordable housing in Kingston, as this issue has been a major concern for everyone who resides here. I am here to call upon the Common Council for more information regarding this project. We are requesting full transparency through further discussion in the form of several public meetings at accessible locations and virtually, so that everyone who wishes to can participate in the process. There are many questions left to consider when creating a project such as this, including the funding, jurisdiction, and profit allocation. We would like to know that tenants will be guaranteed strong protections and how the base rents will be set and how rent increases will be handled. We would also like to know how ongoing changes will be made, whether the council will be able to renegotiate the developer fees or the financing terms of this project. Please consider that any new housing initiative involving public dollars must be subject to public influence before a decision is reached. Please allow the public to have a say in this crucial decision-making process. Thank you.
Thanks. Next speaker, please. That's all the speakers that are on the list. Is there anyone in chambers who would like to speak? Jump up now or forever hold your speech on this issue in this occasion. Seeing no one here, there's no one online, right? No one online, then we will close this portion of the program and we will now move on to, we will enter into claims and communications. Hearing no discussion, these will be on file at the clerk's office. Can I get a motion to dispense with the second reading of the general bills and pay same? Motion by Terrell Mickens, second by Jeannie Edwards. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted, 7-0. We now enter into the report of committees, starting with resolution number 120.
Resolution 120 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the Parks and Recreation Department in the amount of $130,000 to construct and install new ADA accessible kayak launch on the Roundout Creek at T.R. Gallo Park to replace the deteriorated dock.
On the question. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Resolution is adopted, 7-0. We move to resolution 121.
Resolution 121 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the mayor to submit an application to the New York State Office of Parks and Recreation and Historic Preservation and the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for a New York Building Recreation Infrastructure for Communities, Kids, and Seniors grant in the amount of up to $3 million for the Roundout Neighborhood Center Improvements Project and to execute any and all related documents.
On the question. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Anyone opposed? The resolution is adopted, 7-0. We move to resolution 122.
Resolution 122 of 2025. An ordinance amending an ordinance in relation to the traffic on the public streets of the City of Kingston, New York, adding no turn on red signals on Lucas Avenue at Washington Avenue and adding stop intersections on Ardsley Street at Tremper Avenue and Smith Avenue.
On the question, Sarah Pasty.
Yes, I would like to recommend that we remove the section that refers to no right on red on Washington, on Lucas heading into Washington. so that the resolution would then read, an ordinance amending an ordinance in relation to the traffic on the public streets of the city of Kingston, New York, adding stop intersections on Ardsley Street at Tremper Avenue and Smith Avenue.
I take it you're moving to make that resolution
So I am
change?
moving to make
Okay.
that edit so that the resolution reads as I just read it.
Second.
We have a second from Michelle Hirsch on the question of changing the resolution. Hearing no discussion on that, we'll vote on the amendment here. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The amendment passes 7-0. Can you read the amended resolution, please?
Resolution 122 of 2025, an ordinance amending an ordinance in relation to the traffic on the public streets of the city of Kingston, New York, adding stop intersections on Ardsley Street at Tremper Avenue and Smith Avenue.
On the question, Michael Tierney.
Thank you, President Childress. I just want to say that this is an important and necessary traffic safety component in the Second Ward. And I'm really grateful to the neighbors on Smith, Ardsley, and Tremper for bringing this to the attention of the city, and for our city engineer, John Schulteis, for recognizing this important change in the traffic pattern. Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The resolution is adopted 7-0. We now move to resolution 123.
Resolution 123 of 2025, an ordinance amending an ordinance in relation to the traffic on the public streets of the city of Kingston, New York, removing handicap parking on West Union Avenue.
On the question. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The resolution is adopted 7-0. We move to resolution 124.
Resolution 124 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the renaming of the Roundout Community Center, the Albert Brown Community Center.
On the question, Terrell Mickens.
Childress. I wish to express my strong support for the renaming of the Roundout Community Center to the Albert Brown Community Center. To the Brown family, speaking for myself, and I believe for most of my colleagues, I want to say this. I didn't know. I didn't know about the clearly bigoted actions of certain elected officials at the time who saw fit to rob the Brown family of this honor, and in so doing, contorted the will of the community. I was proud to learn that the Common Council even then had voted in favor of naming the community center after Albert Brown. That decision should have stood. And so I thank Carl Brown and his family for their tenacity and for insisting over decades that this wrong be made right. I apologize that it has taken so long, but I am proud that this Common Council, this mayor, and this Parks and Recreation Department get to finally set things right. Albert Brown was a Black man and by all accounts, a dearly beloved son of Kingston. He founded the first Head Start in Ulster County. He served as the president of the Congress of Racial Equality local branch. He started the PAL Boxing and Biddy League. He created the Youth Job Corps here in Kingston, and he was named Patrolman of the Year. He was a father of 4, a husband, and I should add, he also worked at IBM. Albert Brown was killed in a car crash on October 8th, 1967. Just 7 months later, Dr. Martin Luther King would be assassinated. These were those times. Albert Brown was only 25 years old when he died. Can you imagine what more he could have done, would have done for the young people of Kingston, for our city, for justice? He was gone too soon, but now at long last, his name will stand in this community as a symbol of service, of equity, and of love. And I thank you.
Thank you, Terrell. Anyone else? Michelle Hirsch.
I would just like to say that I fully support the renaming of the Rondout Community Center to the Albert Brown Community Center. When Carl Brown brought this story to me, I was absolutely incredulous that something like this could have happened. And if Albert Brown had lived, these sort of things I don't believe would have happened. And that Kingston would be a much different place for the community that was here at the time. Thank you.
Wearing my hat as an alderperson, I would like to add my agreement with what both of my colleagues have said. I'd like to note too, history matters. History is the way we tell ourselves what is most important, what our values are, who we are as a people. Too often in our past in this city, we have neglected the important contributions, the place, the long-standing being of our Black citizens. Recently, the Kingston Housing Authority changed the name of one of its main facilities to honor Leonard and Vera Van Dyke, two crucial people who were in the same era as Albert Brown. This, I think, is absolutely crucial for us to take a stand on what is important in this country. This country is made up of all kinds of people. The reason we're here is because, unlike most countries on the planet, we are who we are because we are not like each other. We have all come from different places and we have found ways to work together. And I think that this process of finally naming the community center after Albert Brown is a testament to what we're doing here. So I heartily agree with this resolution. And if there are no other comments, I will call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The resolution is adopted 7-0. Thank you all for being here too. We now move to Resolution 125.
Resolution 125 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the removal of the sum of $149,000 estimated property maintenance fees from the 2025 general tax bill for 57 Lindsley Avenue, SBL 56.37-7-5.
On the question. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Anyone opposed? The resolution passes, is adopted 7-0. Resolution 126, please.
Resolution 126 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York assumes the role as lead agency in making a negative declaration on the short environmental assessment for the Kingston Point Beach New York Swims project.
On the question. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The resolution passes, is adopted rather 7-0. We move to Resolution 127.
Resolution 127 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, declaring its intent to serve as lead agency and seek a coordinated review for the Kingston Point Wetlands Restoration and Public Access Improvement Project.
On the question. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is adopted. The resolution is adopted 7-0. Resolution 128.
Resolution 128 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, requesting approval to designate 17 parcels as open space to be subject to such rules and regulations as may be promulgated by the City of Kingston Parks and Recreation Department.
On the question. Michael Tierney.
Thank you, President Childress. I support this designation. I think that open space is of critical importance here in the city of Kingston, and the city has done a tremendous job expanding both the amount of public space in the city of Kingston as well as access to it. And I hope that and I'm voting in favor under the assumption that that this open space will still allow public access. These parcels are part of the creek in a part of town that people cannot walk to our pool. They would have to drive. So I think it serves as a vital corridor for people to cool down in the summer. There's a lot of wild native plants there that represent a foraging opportunity as we face increasing food scarcity and food insecurity here in this country. So I really press the Parks Department to continue to allow the public to enjoy these open spaces. Thank you.
Michelle Hirsch.
Yes, thank you, President Childress. And thank you to my colleague, Alderman Tierney, for the support for this open space down in the Wilbur area. So these spaces that we are approving tonight have already been purchased last year. These are 70 acres plus another 2 acres that the city already owned as surplus property, and this will make up the Twofskill Echo Corridor in Wilbur. It's an honor to represent this area and to see all of this designated open space and see all of the really wonderful things that have been going in down there. Red Fox Ravine, which is open to the public, the land in Black Hands. So there's a lot of really great things going on. Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is adopted, 7-0. We move to 129.
Resolution 129 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the adoption of a bond ordinance to match the sum of $4,861,111, the NYSEFC Green Resilience Grant Award for safe and accessible Flatbush and Foxhall Avenues.
On the question, Bob Dennison.
A vital project. It's very important. The pedestrian traffic that uses that corridor is in a dangerous, it has a dangerous path to travel. Having this project completed will make the access to Midtown better for the people that live in Van Dyke and the apartments off Flatbush. It's a vital project. It'll be great to see it done.
Anyone else? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Resolution is adopted, 7-0. We now move to the bond ordinance, which will be a long roll. You need to call their names.
Resolution 130 of 2025. Bond ordinance dated August 5th, 2025. An ordinance authorizing financing of green resilience improvements to Flatbush and Foxhall Avenues, Phase 1, in and for the City of Kingston, Ulster County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $4,681,111, and to authorize the issuance of $4,681,111 bonds of said city to pay costs thereof. Alderman Pasty,
Yes.
Alderman Tierney,
Yes.
Alderman Edwards, Alderman Mickens,
Yes.
Alderman Dennison, Alderman Hirsch,
Yes.
Alderman Scott Childress.
Yes. The bond is approved, 7-0. And then we have the first reading of local law number 5.
Local Law 5 of 2025 of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, amending the regulating map of the City of Kingston's form-based code.
That concludes the resolutions on this evening's agenda. So we can now move to, anybody have anyone they want to close in honor of? Bob Dennison.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to close in honor of Roger Bonsteel, who died last Thursday, July 31st. Roger is lived in Kingston since 1978. He grew up in the western part of the state, went to Hamilton College and Colgate University, where he got a master's degree in mathematics, was in the United States Marine Corps, left as a captain, moved to Kingston to work for IBM. He and his wife Sue, and he moved here in 1978, did 29 years with IBM, had 2 children who he raised here, Sarah and Jeff. Roger was very active in the community. He was part of the Mendelssohn Club. He was an AARP tax preparer volunteer. He was the treasurer of Angel Food East. He was the treasurer of St. John's Church. He was an honorable man and passed too soon. I knew Roger as a kind man and an ethical man, and I think he should be remembered in that light. He will be missed.
Anyone else? Michelle Hirsch?
Thank you. I would like to close in memory of my neighbor, Barry Brandt, 78 years old of Kingston. He died Thursday, July 10th, 2025 at Green Meadows Nursing and Rehab Center. He was born on May 29th, 1947 in Kingston, the son of the late Harry and Cora Smith Brandt. Barry served our country in the United States Air Force during the Vietnam War. He was a self-employed roofer in a family business, Brandt Brothers Roofing. He was also employed for the City of Kingston as Housing Code Inspector for 9 years and delivered for Ulster County Meals on Wheels for 12 years. He enjoyed traveling to visit his children. Surviving is his wife, Patricia Brandt, a daughter, Allison Brandt, and son, Ryan Brandt, 2 siblings, Shirley Golnick and her husband, Robert Golnick, and Roger Brandt and his wife, Georgine. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one else, then I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Jeannie Edwards. If there's no objection, we stand adjourned till next month.